Hey, boys and girls, weather report for September 16th, 2021. And I forgot buffaloes and bunnies. We don't want to exclude buffaloes and bunnies. So, weather report.
Computer, but buffaloes are neater.
No one asked me about my conversion yesterday.
The more they go extinct.
Nobody asked me about my conversion yesterday. I said I'd converted. I converted to Christianity, to old earth or intelligent design. Days before yesterday.
Yeah.
And I converted to Christianity and gave myself to Jesus, and I'm doing all that other stuff you're supposed to do. And the reason I did it is because I want to get into heaven, because I want to go up there and give God some shit about the Cody route. Pretty bad. I mean, really.
Bad. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a coder, and I love picking on other coders when they screw up really badly.
Yeah.
And he screwed up really badly, so I need to get up there and talk to him.
Going up there and saying, hey, I know you're omnipotent and all, but here's something you could have done better.
Yeah, you really fucked up. Like, oh, this is a real embarrassment, God. You got to fix this shit.
Yeah, Maddox can't even figure it out, so
yeah,
you must have fucked up.
Yeah.
He's so brilliant that if he can't figure it out, nobody can.
Yep. So I want to do I found a little diagram, one of my books, one of my textbooks, and this is pretty cool. I put the title out there, Does It Sell Shit in the Woods? So I got to explain it, I guess. So anyway, this is this, looking at the top, the embryonic epiblast, that's the very beginning of the formation of you. That your first tissue type, coming out of a zygote, which is a fertilized cell. Basically, that is the beginning of everything, and it's one cell, and it starts dividing. And when it divides, it differentiates into all these different cell types. And this little diagram shows you all of the things that it becomes. You got the neural crest, which becomes your brain. And you've got. They don't mention they got vagina and uterus, but they don't mention penis and testicles. So I'm sorry, dudes.
There's Maddox must be he must be an expert on that one far to the right there. What is that? Anal canal. Yeah, he must.
Anal canal. Yeah,
I think he knows a lot about that.
Yep. But you see this line on the left here, the embryonic endoderm. Okay. That basically, if you follow that down, it becomes the gut, trachea, lungs, pancreas, and liver. So it keeps differentiating. These cell types keep changing. And so how does one cell, a cell divides, how does cell A become one thing and cell B becomes another thing? Well, there are a lot of different ways that cells can send messages to each other. Okay. And it's a two-way traffic. Like, for instance, in order to form a liver, it has to be in proximity of the forming heart. Otherwise, you won't get a liver. So if they take the heart part of the embryo out, the liver never forms. So the heart sends a signal or a message to the gut and tells that little piece right below your stomach called the duodenum to start producing basically a little plate that ends up differentiating into your liver. So there's all this two-way traffic going on between cells, and it's a little more than that. It's not only messages from other cells, but it's the extracellular environment, and sometimes it's the pressure from other cells. Like a cell will be pushing on another cell, and it'll get a certain signal from butting up against something. And that's why Topdawg, I needed a soft body physics engine, that can show that, things can compress and all of that. But now when I say messages, now biologists today are writing a whole lot of papers. I get 1 or 2 a day on biosemiotics, where they're trying to make sense of this communication according to semiotics, which is a field pretty much founded by somebody who I forgot and worked on by Charles Sanders Peirce. And one of the things that Charles Sanders Peirce considered a message is like tracks of an animal in the woods. That was a part of the semiotic triad. It's a triangle. So there's tracks in the woods, then there's something that interprets the tracks in the woods, and whatever interprets them will say, it's this thing. So if you see deer tracks in the woods, the interpretant will see those tracks and say, there's a deer. There was a deer there. We know that the bear shits in the woods, right? So if the bear shits in the woods,
allegedly,
a human sees the bear shit, he will automatically, he will interpret that as the bear shitting. But now the bear did not send the message to the human by shitting in the woods so that the human would know that the bear was there. But now with human beings, when we send messages to each other, like we're doing right now on this YouTube channel, we actually know that there are English-speaking people out there who understand where we're coming from and will understand us. Now that's humans messaging, right? There's another level of messaging where you have, an intelligent interpretant that will see the tracks in the woods and say there's a deer there, okay? But there's another level of messaging where there'll be a honeybee who watches some waggle dancing and without any intelligence at all knows what direction to go to find the honey, that sort of thing. So biosemiotics is taking the intelligence out of information and messaging. And anyway, so does the cell shit in the woods? It's basically, cells are putting stuff out. Now the heart is putting information out that turns those cells into a liver, but the heart isn't like intending for that to happen. It's just what the heart puts out and the liver happens to get developed. But anyway, this is a nice little diagram, and I don't know how to, we'll put it in our forum, Topdawg, in Science and Naturalism. But it's a really nice diagram that shows you the cell lineages for all the things that happen in human beings. Here's your teeth up on the right and all of that stuff. So
This almost seems kind of reminiscent of the principle of emergence, right? Yeah, and that's it's really interesting when you look back. I should probably define that for the audience. So emergence is basically, it's more than the sum of its parts. So like, for example, an ant colony is not just a bunch of individual ants working together. It's the sum of that and the connections that are established between them. So an ant colony is not reducible to just a single ant.
Yeah. Now, there's a whole bunch of genes involved in this and pathways, and these pathways are used over and over again. Like the Wnt pathway, the WNT pathway, is used over and over and over again in all of these different cell differentiation types, and the homeobox genes are used over and over again. And when we look back to the Cambrian, we're looking back to far simpler animals who had far less organs. Okay. And all of this complexity develops. But the important thing to look at here is from that little top box, that blue box on top that says embryonic epiblast, that very, very simple little cell up there differentiates into all of these things based on some real simple biochemical pathways and messages. And so all of this complexity that is your body is developed out of that very, very simple round little cell, that has no features at all. And it becomes your liver, your heart, your brain, your legs, your muscles, your skeleton. And we know a whole lot about how that happens. And it happens without any intelligent design at all, or any intelligent nudging at all. And I keep trying to make that point, and creationists poo-poo this away and say, oh, yeah, but, the information is there in the DNA. Well, in modern biology, most of the papers that they themselves provide tell you that the information in DNA is not sufficient for this task. It takes a womb, it takes an environment, it takes an existing cell that branches off. But the thing is, we have all of this complexity happens without any intelligence at all. There is no little factory worker sitting around with a hammer reading a blueprint saying, oh, I need a 2x4 here, and I need to put a bone cell here, or whatever. This all happens naturally, and they cannot not accept that part of it. Do you see that?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
With this,
do you understand the significance of that?
Yeah, I mean, like things interacting with each other produce stuff complicated, beautiful things all the time. Like I was gonna say, just gravitational interactions in cosmology, for example, of like how spiral galaxies form from just stars aligning with each other, and the density waves of those stars kind of it gets kind of complicated. But again, it's reducible to just each star is interacting with its neighbors. Same for like galaxy clusters, galaxy superclusters, stuff like that. So yeah, it doesn't have to be top down. It can be bottom up. Absolutely.
Yep. Very simple things. Here's the whole illustration. I think I got it all. Do I have it all?
And actually, according to the modern cosmological model, it was all, or well, maybe not all of it, but our existence is based on bottom-up processes. So
yep,
not top-down ones.
But in modern biology, the emphasis is on looking at both top-down, bottom-up, and overlapping hierarchies all at the same time. Because in dynamical systems, it is not top-down or bottom-up. It is a combination of everything interacting dynamically, and that's how the complexity happens. So that's the cautionary tale of the extended synthesis, which I hope Dr. Dan's not here. If he heard me say that, he'd be mad at me. So he don't like that word.
Oh.
Anyway, I have an open mind. Anyway, so I just wanted to point out that's my whole does it sell shit in the woods thing. So
yeah, I think that's a cool concept though, and I think everyone needs to really understand that.
Yep. And Topdawg on the forum, did I put the forum link in the description? On the forum has Topdawg. That's not what we wanted to see. Uh-huh. We wanted to see your simulations. What was that first one you showed us with the one you showed us Algodo?
Yeah, Algodo.
What is this one? This looks like a little sperm cell.
It's just liquid. I think it's a community made program. I mean, not program, but the part. What do we call it? That they made in this game, or simulation. I mean. Then they can show other people.
Did you know
it's all messy, so you can undo it so you can get back to normal.
Did you link that part of your? I think I pulled up that part of your forum, but why can't I find it? You linked it to me. Can you tell me where it is? Again?
In scienceandnaturalism.com.
Yeah, but could you give me the link again to that particular forum post? Did you put it in private chat?
I haven't done it yet.
Okay. How did I find it before? I can't remember. But anyway,
go to your site, then you scienceandnaturalism.com. You go learning science with Topdawg Toppicks, and then you go to scientific games and programs, and that's the first thing I'll go to. And then you click download here, and then it'll give you the option to do it on Windows or Mac. Maybe others.
Wow. Okay, there we go. Scientific games and programs. Okay, I'll put a link for that in the whole bunch of interesting
That's cool.
simulations in there. 50 best
It's not
science
loading.
games.
Hmm.
We got to end at 5 today for sure. Even a little before would be cool.
Okay.
So let's see what else we got going on. So we had a Maddox sighting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
Guess
the
what
game's
he was
freezing
talking
up.
about?
Code.
Yep.
Wait. What was that actually it? Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was it. Right. That was it.
That's how narrow it is.
Yeah, I know. Yep. Yeah, and he got into a little tussle with Dave on last night on Praise's stream, I guess.
Wait, Dave.
Yep.
Yeah,
David who brings me timestamps.
Yeah.
Oh, David. Sorry, I thought I was like Dave. Who's Dave?
Thanks.
Search for
The game
David.
just crashed, or the simulation
Did it
just
crash?
crashed. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, that's linked in the chat or in the description. So let's see. I want to stop my screen, and I would like to pull this up. Why don't we give this a listen? This might be interesting.
you're not sharing your screen.
Who?
Still on Topdawg.
And Andrew,
Huh?
why do you think I didn't know that?
Oh, I thought you were sharing. Sorry, I'm
Well,
misunderstood.
no, it's because I'm old, right? Okay, it's an another ageist comment, right?
No.
Did you see the ageist thing? I saw one on Twitter. Some guy was complaining that Clint Eastwood's doing an action film and he's 91.
No.
And I
Okay,
just
no.
I just tweeted back ageist.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, ageist. So I'm really sensitive to ageist comments now that I'm really fucking old.
Understandable.
Yep. Well, you get tired of it. It's like, Jesus Christ, you don't die just because your brain doesn't curl up and go away because you get old. What's wrong with you people? Yeah.
This is
Okay.
the Petri dish simulation, I think. Here.
Oh. Let's put that up for a minute.
Is this the part?
Simple.
Are they
Like a
evolving?
Petri dish. Supposed to be. I don't know. This is my first time playing it, so
Oh,
They look like they're evolving.
there is population of taking over. The bigger, grayer are more populated. There's still some
no.
black dots. There's some
don't
green
feed
in
the
there, too.
plants. Don't feed them.
Oh, let's
that's
see.
the green. They're getting fed by the green, probably. The light blue.
Nothing to see on that stream, so we don't care how it looks. Okay, sound check. Oh, good. We're
This would
good.
be really good for evolution of showing just in a program of how population take over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess simplistically, yeah.
Yep. I'm looking
Is
for
this the
something
part
where I
where-
can.
Is this the part where David comes in?
David?
No, I didn't go in. I just made comments.
Oh,
This is
okay.
just-
Darn, you disappointed me, Speed.
Yeah, and and then they had a lot to say about Speed in the gang.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how the
Did
hell.
they say anything about me?
No, they didn't mention. No, sorry, Andrew, they didn't.
No, they
mention-
still like you for some reason. Well, no,
Yeah.
actually, they don't like you
me.
as much as they. Yeah, they don't like you as much as they used to.
Yeah, they're
Remember?
starting to get. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I suppose we could give this a listen and see what happens.
And you brought the cupcake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm a cupcake tonight. I'm editing a promo video for my stream Friday night, and where the whole code thing. You know, I'm not a scientist. I can't talk the science with you, but you know, like the fact that it's a code would be a human construct, right? It's you know, like I'm not denying that there isn't a code, right? I think that it's kind of odd, and I think that it is information without a doubt, definitely information. And I think that we humans see it as a code because we humans tend to see codes and patterns and stuff. So the fact that we see it as a code is a human construct, as far as I understand it. Now, whether or not that code is from God or just the natural order of things, just the way that life exists, I think that's up for debate. But I, as an atheist, am not going to sit here and say, well, there's no code there, right? Like, yeah, there appears to be a code.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Why? Okay. So codes, actual codes, have underlying fundamentals that are necessary for it to be a code.
Yeah, a mental construct. Like, I was close. Thank you, Dan Straight. I'm sorry, I was responding to chat.
Honestly, bro, it's really freaking obnoxious to interact with atheists on this topic who don't know a fucking thing about code and what it actually is. And then
I kind of understand patterns and codes and stuff.
Shut the fuck up and listen, okay? This is so annoying, okay? I'm not talking to you. I'm really fucking.
I don't shut the
This coming from a script kiddie who doesn't even know how to write computer code.
fuck up very often, but I will for you.
I'm so annoyed. I'm taking it on you right now, but I'm
like I totally was like as agreeable as I could be with you, dude.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm just frustrated with this topic, okay? Because you like. It's a human construct, and it's like patterns and stuff. Like, dude, there is so much more to the fundamentals of what a code is that 99.9% of the atheists on YouTube don't have a freaking clue about. None whatsoever.
Would a code exist if you've been...
Have you ever heard him explain what the fundamentals of what a code is?
No. I love it how I'm so frustrated because nobody on the internet is as smart as me. And they just can't see it. They just can't figure it out like I can.
And none of those scientists, even though they have PhDs, they can't figure it out either.
I know.
Newsflash LPP, if you're, or this is how actual science works. If you're saying X, and X can't be replicated or found by the rest of your peers, then X isn't justified.
Right.
That's how we do science. In this YouTube way, at least.
I got a suggestion for John that'll help him going forward in his life with his frustration. John, write up a paper or a blog post, not a fucking meme, talking about evil atheists. Don't talk about atheists at all. Just explain to us what your idea is about what a code is and why it requires an intelligent designer. Write a paper. Yeah. Be fun. We could sink our teeth into that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Anyway, so you come in about what, 11? You said, David?
Just weren't here to decode it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you want to listen to the whole diatribe, or should we? Sounds like fun. I don't know.
It's up to you. They go on. They say some pleasant things about you. That's for sure. So
yeah, but that's a lot later, right?
No,
after 11.
It's too long.
I love hearing pleasant things said about myself. I like that. So
I'd rather hear the pleasant things and all the code stuff because it's been talked about so much.
Yeah, let's listen.
So
okay, I predict he's going to say in any other context pretty quick. I predict that.
Does a tree make sound when it falls if nobody's there to hear it?
There's a bear shit in the woods.
Arbitrary value.
I'm poking the bear now.
When the tree falls,
is
there a source and target alphabet that's been arbitrarily assigned data values?
I'm just saying they've been discussing these matters for almost as long as they've been discussing your Jesus.
That is the only thing he's ever said about codes, is that the data value, basically the translation is arbitrary, and we fucking know that. So
probably.
What, the underlying fundamentals of digital code?
Underlying fundamentals of digital code.
You guys are hilarious.
I don't
like the
think
odd couple.
I know, like sometimes me and John we get along, and then sometimes me and John we don't.
So Rage, since so information theory started in 1948, I think that's 1948 years after Christ was born.
So humans
So-
weren't
so are you
deciphering
suggesting
patterns
that
and codes before 1948?
From a digital and
good
from
one.
a communication theory perspective, do you think they were actually, before information theory existed, do you think they were actually discussing back in like 17 or 80, 50, they were discussing like the fundamentals of digital code?
Of digital code? No, but like I'm pretty sure they were deciphering patterns.
Now, I think they were talking about this stuff pretty early on in biology, weren't they? I don't know. I have to check.
Hey, Speed.
Yeah.
Do you know what exactly does LPP mean when it? Because I'm not a programmer by any stretch.
Right.
What does he mean when he says that the code is arbitrary or however you phrased it?
Okay, that has really not a lot to do with coding. But now, if you had, he's talking about DNA. He's talking about it being arbitrary, that the codons are assigned to a particular amino acid. That's what he means by arbitrary. Like there are 20 amino acids, and there are multiple codes for those amino acids, and it's an arbitrary code if you just look at it first blush, right? It looks like okay.
How does that prove a designer?
It doesn't at all. It's just that's how the system actually works. It's like looking at a river and seeing the arbitrary turns in the bank and around the rocks and saying, it looks arbitrary to me, without considering how the river came to be, without looking at the entire history of how the code came to be, that sort of thing. He just ignores that. He waves that away. So,
right.
But
I mean, like the genetic code is not just, isn't the only way you can write a genetic code. There are other theoretical ways you can have the sequence transcribed into particular amino acids. So and from the programming point of view, okay, you have functions, right? So you know what a function is. You put an input in, you get a result out. Okay, so an equivalent in coding, if you want to talk about computer theory, would be something called a memoized function, where when you put in an A, you haven't had the entire list, and you assign arbitrarily. If I put in an A, I'm going to get $238.13. If I put in a B, I'm going to get $68.12. Okay. If I were to take every single input for that function and assign an output to it, that would be called a memo function in functional programming. Okay. That isn't how we code things normally. We don't list every input and write every output. Normally, we come up with some kind of an algorithm to do it, that sort of thing. So that would be the only crossover to coding, and it's not a good one because we seldom write memoized functions. Once in a while, you gotta, but most of the time we don't. So anyway, but he probably doesn't know shit about functional programming, let alone lambda calculus
and codes back then.
Oh, that's like, dude. Okay, so if
you're talking about like DNA, hell no. Like we're just scratching the surface of the science, dude. Like we don't even know what we don't know yet.
Right. So, dude, do you think it is remotely plausible that a digital code in any other context could form itself?
That a digital code in any other context could form itself
without an intelligent agent being necessary?
Of course, I'm an atheist, right?
So you think that the Morse code?
I think that, the universe is as the universe is, and I'm not going to put some deity there designing it all just because I want to.
Okay, that's okay. And again, this is why atheists are fucking idiots and never.
This is why you're an idiot, John. Okay, it's the same thing I was saying about the cell does not send a message with the idea that the message is going to be interpreted by something. The cell simply produces a chemical, and some other cell sees that chemical and does something, or basically gets that chemical on its surface and it does something. It's called a message in biology. We call it cell messaging. But we don't fucking mean that cell A was sitting around thinking, I think I'll send a memo to cell B. That's not how it works, John. But if you're religious, you believe that God planned it that way, right? God was the code maker. So But he leaves that out, and he never makes that case clear. And so now he's going to talk about Morse code, which we know is a fucking code that humans designed so that they could talk to other humans with a telegraph, right? With a little thing that you hit, dot, 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 dash, whatever the fuck. Anyway, God, this guy.
Oh yeah, I can be
themselves.
stupid. I don't.
And you don't
that.
actually know what the hell a code is.
No,
you don't know the underlying basic fundamentals.
Probably not.
And they're like, it's a pattern. Okay, does it
I am pretty high.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. And this is
How hard does he think this idea is about codes? I mean, how deep does he think this goes? It doesn't go that fucking deep. I don't know what he's talking about. He acts like he acts like he has some little nugget of information that nobody else has, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm always pretty
actually
high.
think for themselves and just spew bullshit talking points.
If you're not pretty
They don't
high,
actually
that's probably
What?
Um,
Do you say
Peter.
foreskin?
oh, I'm sorry, I forgot all about that. Yes, Dannykins. William Radcliffe's website. Peter gave us a link to it. He's going to be talking to Jackson.
I put a link already in the description, Peter, to William Radcliffe's website.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. I'm going to back away now in embarrassment.
I did this a long time ago, Peter. You think what do you think we do here, Peter? Go read my description once in a while. God, I'm insulted.
why you're so uptight right now.
No, actually, I'm operating for a little sleep.
You should probably get pretty high.
No, that lowers
Maybe you wouldn't be so
we already had
uptight.
a discussion where it lowers the executive function of your brain and
Well,
lowers your
I
IQ.
think you need to lower
It
your
literally lowers
executive
your
function
IQ.
of your brain.
So
Makes you impotent too.
if you're a chronic user, it
That
lowers
doesn't
your
mean
IQ.
your executive is
So it's
competent.
proven fact. There's papers on it. I read them to you in our conversation on Germania's channel. And you found it didn't exist.
I got
Kudos for the rage here. He really is doing a good job with John. This is cool. So
to be dumb then.
Oh wait, hey, bro, you were gonna go research those papers. Did you ever go read them?
Not yet. I mean,
Oh, that was like 3 months ago.
I know, but I'm like reading, like I'm almost done with Aristotle, and then I'm moving on to Marcus Aurelius. I'll get to it at some point.
Oh, okay. So you couldn't take the time to go read a paper on executive function of your
Dude,
brain.
I do so much, and I'm not a scientist type. I kind of do like floats my boat, and science really isn't that. I like debunking your Bible and shit.
Okay, cool. So you don't realize that. So you think that you're debunking the Bible while operating from a lessened executive function perspective and from a deprecation of your IQ, but you're debunking the Bible.
Those are big words for such a small man.
Well, I know I might be as tall as you, but I'm taller than 89% of the world, so I wouldn't call me small.
Well, I'm 96% taller than the rest of the world. Dude. You better recognize.
Actually, since you're 6'5",
How tall are you, Raging?
I'm top 3%. I'm 6'5". John's got it.
Damn.
And I'm heavy too, so that adds some weight, right?
what's John gonna do now? He's got somebody that's probably taller than him, or as tall. Now what is he gonna do? What's his next move? We'll see.
John, John, you know I don't like the science crap. I came in to offer you, John. Praise already knows, but like I saw you were here. You had such good times with the preacher. I'm having a stream Friday night. I want to. I'm offering one-on-one time with the preacher, so like it won't be other people piping in. It would just be like you having 30, 40, 50 minutes with the preacher. I would just be moderating. So that's kind of what I came in, and then I just had to poke the bear with the whole science and code stuff.
So are you prepared to like have to put him backstage if you actually want to be a moderator?
I'm going to do it, but I will do it sparingly.
Dude, he's just gonna like shout over people for the whole time.
Well, I know, and I'm going to be like more, I started using the mute button there at the end, like when it was me and Oz, and then just me and him. Like I was trying to like go out of my way to not do it. But yeah, this time I'm going to be playing actual moderator. He said he's open to all challengers. So like I'm just like, all right, I'm going to moderate, and yeah, I'll be using that mute button. I already told him that like my side chat's going to be pretty much normal. You're not going to like I want Christians to come into my side chat. But don't come in there spamming shit, right? And especially if you're 11 years old, that's not cool.
Dude, him bringing his 11-year-old kids into your stream is child abuse.
Oh, dude, my stream ain't for kids.
I know. You said it to him. Like, what the hell? Like, you were questioning why. Like,
who's the preacher?
Oh, he's off his rocker. That guy. I mean,
really
bad. Oh, he's real bad.
So why would Maddox want to talk to him?
Because he's just off his rocker. He thinks he doesn't sin, like he's incapable of sinning, so he can do anything he wants.
Oh, that guy.
Because Jesus paid for all our sins. So and nobody else is a real Christian. All these other idiots on the internet, none of them are real Christians. And he pissed off Matt X and he pissed off SFT too.
Oh, cool.
They both came on to Rage's channel and battled with him.
Okay, I think we're 16 seconds away from your comment going up on the screen, even though they blocked you in the side chat, so nobody else can see your comments. But Praise puts them up on the stream anyway. So,
why would you have I would never. My daughter's 11. I would never allow my daughter on a late night.
I try to keep my daughter separate.
John,
the other night, my daughter came in here. It was in the middle of some stream, and I got mad. And at the time, I didn't realize I hit the mute on StreamYard, but I didn't hit the mute on OBS, so I didn't realize that it actually came through. I watched it back and I heard it, and I'm like, I got mad at my daughter because she came in here while I'm streaming and she knows better, you know.
I love how Lori Hayes makes comments when, per her own admission, she's a fucking idiot and doesn't understand.
What's a he?
Yeah. Lori Hayes is a he. It's a he on his wife's account.
David Scott.
No, that's isn't that Scott?
I wonder what his real name is. Loser Hayes.
And Lori Hayes is. I mean, he's pretty cool.
Isn't that Scott's alter ego? It's one of the idiots on the Pudding channel. Who's it's his alter ego.
Oh my God, he still doesn't get it.
I'm looking at Smokey's comment right now, and I'm
Wait.
like, that's the thing.
I feel like I've heard this before.
This whole doctrine, you could be worse than the worst of atheists, and you're still a Christian. Like what? It makes no sense.
Oh my gosh,
That
is pretty bad.
I mean, Smokey speaks truth when he speaks truth, and damn it, that was truth right there.
I don't understand. I mean, Smokey just needs to make the
what?
How have we heard this before?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
are we positive this isn't the same video?
I think it's the same video over and over again.
This was last night. Yeah, he does say the same things, of course.
We're in hell, and it just plays over and over again. Okay, here we go. Daniel Bennett's with us again.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Bennett, when are you going to come in the room and talk to us? We don't have time today, but God, you've got to come in next week. Or maybe for tomorrow for Shit Show Friday.
Yeah,
I'll have Daniel in.
He doesn't have the balls. If
there was no complex signaling between cells, there would be no multicellular organisms. So? Who cares? Okay, what do we got here? Was not replaced with timing in DNA, you would not be here. So, to do so, molecular high technology was employed. What the hell?
Okay, buddy.
Oh my God, high technology.
Yeah.
How was that implemented before life started? Well, talk to Dr. Dan about cytosine and how fucking bad a choice that was.
Yeah.
That's one of his.
He didn't really deal with the cytosine issue that was brought up. He just changed the subject.
Yep. Oh, did somebody bring it up already? The cytosine thing?
Yeah, raw nakedness. I put it up on the screen, and you didn't read it. Here we go. Here it is.
Yeah, I found that interesting because the genetic code of everything uses cytosine, and if what she's saying is true, that cytosine is really crap.
Really
you
crap.
Wonder about the whole common design argument, quote unquote. So
well, turns out that the crappiness of cytosine was sort of used in a couple of other ways. And we have a couple of papers that Dessel Drace went over on his channel about basically, let's see, causal role mutation, causal role selection, and selected effect selection. Two different kinds of selection, and it's really interesting. And it gets right into the whole junk DNA concept, and it's probably worth having a Not Weather Report talk about those papers and some of the stuff that they came up with. But I don't want to get into it. Something you might be really interested in, Andrew, because it talks about a different kind of selection, basically. That's sort of like neutral selection, but a little bit different. Really
I just wanted to tell Raw Nakedness, like before, I do like what she's done with her hair, but I need to also tell her that you need to be in front of the sun lamp, not behind it, to get that tan that you want. Okay. Just a little advice and a little compliment. You know, it's one of those compliment sandwiches, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So, she's looking a little like Midnight.
Yeah, this is kind of like an open-faced compliment sandwich.
Okay. Anyway,
I think I just thought of like an argument that we could maybe use, or maybe someone else has come up with it before. But what do you guys think about this? Okay, so they're saying that that's designed, right? And so certain aspects of it are there for a reason, for necessity, basically. But we know, of course, that certain aspects, not just like junk DNA or stuff like that, but for each functional molecule, there are certain aspects of those molecules that are not critical to function and don't play a role in the function of those molecules. So therefore, does that do you guys see where I'm going with this? Like you can't have your cake and eat it too, basically. Either everything is like for design to be true, everything would have to be of necessity, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and then you can't have genetic entropy. Well, so somebody mentioned that SFT will go with 20% non-functional because the genetic entropy fits into that little piece of the cake or whatever. But anyway, these and that gets back to these two articles where they're talking about like you might end up with a whole lot of spurious transcription. So suppose some little RNA, non-coding RNA, gets transcribed, and it would cause a problem because it would attach to something else and it would inhibit something that was needed and useful, except that there's another little piece of something that's transcribed and it ends up attaching to that RNA, non-coding RNA, and making it so that it's not harmful. Okay? Mm-hmm. So now, going forward in the future, that particular piece that stops the bad RNA from doing bad things is required. Otherwise, it would be selected against. It would be purified, right? So you end up with all these little constructs in the DNA that are conserved and they're needed. But the only reason they're there is because some other piece of shit in the DNA would have killed you if it hadn't been for this particular. It's almost like if you were building a building and every now and then you threw up a pole that wasn't supposed to be there and it would fall over and cause destruction unless you threw up another pole to stop it from doing that, right? So now both of those poles are needed, you know? And the second pole depends on the first pole, which depends on the second pole. So you need both poles.
Kind of gets into evolution being a tinker, not an engineer, right?
Yep, and that's the point the papers are making. And these papers are by Doolittle et al. Doolittle, and there's one other guy that's involved in them, and they're pretty interesting. And they're basically pushing back on ENCODE heavily because ENCODE, they said, failed to make really good definitions for what they consider functional.
Right.
But as we know, ENCODE wrote me an email saying they no longer use the word functional because they got their asses handed to them so badly. What they really found is that there was some activity. They found out there was some biochemical activity, and you're going to find that everywhere. But I was trying to tell you guys that the other day when I was talking about, suppose you had a endogenous retrovirus that inserted itself into the DNA and you now had a loop, right? And so now you got this big loop and you have something else that ties that loop up. And basically that becomes part of the function of the cell because it does this 3D remodeling of DNA such that the right things are transcribed. So we got the loop, and then we have something that basically ties the loop up. If we lose either one of those things, it's possible that we will screw the cell up. So now those things are part of the DNA. And we could say, oh, they're functional because they interact to basically keep each other behaving. You could say they're functional, but what the hell are they there for in the first place? And then further on down the road, 100,000 years, that loop becomes more and more useful for some other function. It has a third function now, and now you're stuck with the whole mess. And that's how DNA, that's basically the magic of eukaryotes with the introns. That's why the introns kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and more and more and more of them, because there's this, what I like to call it is junk shop. Well, CRISPR calls it junk drawer DNA. Junk shop DNA is what I called it. You've got all these little pieces and widgets out there, and they're being fit together in different ways. And every now and then they will fit together and actually do something, which won't make any difference at all until you get into an environment where that becomes necessary. And now all of a sudden you have a selection effect, rather than just a causal role for that thing. I mean, causal role means that the molecule does something. We know that molecules interact with other molecules all the time. You can hardly stop them from doing that, right? So that's called causal role. They'll have some causal effect. Overall, if the causal effect creates an organism that can reproduce, then we're good. It doesn't matter how much junk you end up sticking in there. And you end up with these Rube Goldberg machines, right?
Yeah.
But it's a good thing, because if you get into an environment where all of a sudden things change, part of that Rube Goldberg machine also all of a sudden becomes good design. It's useful. So
yeah, useful. I think good is a little
useful.
Good itself is not a useful word.
Right.
Kind of weird how I was playing with this simulation at the same time, right before you said the Rube Goldberg.
And it does look like a Goldberg device.
Yeah. So, the thing is, the brakes go out in your car and you happen to have a block of wood behind the tire, all of a sudden you're dependent on the block of wood, and that's the way you're going to go. And then the brakes can degrade or degenerate because we don't need the brakes anymore. We just run out there and put a block of wood back there. That's how biology works, unfortunately. But designers would fix the brakes. We would have had far simpler cells. So I'm just not buying this whole intelligent design thing. Yeah, Daniel, it's a fairy tale. Blah, blah, blah. Tell me how we're wrong. Sophisticated air check and repair mechanism. Yes, but there aren't sophisticated air check and repair mechanisms in all cells. There's pretty unsophisticated things happening in some of them. So, and we get cancer occasionally. That kind of blows the whole design. But God intended for us to get cancer, right? Because we weren't good boys and girls in the garden.
Yeah, because two people ate a fruit off a tree.
Yeah, we're supposed to believe this shit, and you're coming in here pretending that we're being silly. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
It took a fruit off a tree that God planted himself to be in the same area where they said not to be.
Yep.
But as far as
the whole entire planet and one plant.
As far as what we describe as code and complicated processes, given billions of years, they can come into process. In fact, on that John Perry and Richard Dawkins discussion, they talked about this one unguided RNA process, from some sort of biophage or bacteriophage virus that built up more efficient versions of itself over time. It's conceivable, and we'll find out more about how it might have been done.
My friend Cheryl is here. Thank goodness. Hi, Cheryl. How are you today?
Did you see your name, David?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Just to show my appreciation for when you bring me timestamps.
Yep. Now, can we talk about foreskin? Because Cheryl doesn't like that.
Cheryl, Cheryl doesn't like foreskin. Why?
I know. I don't know.
What's wrong with foreskin?
She must have had a bad experience with one or something.
Bad experience.
I'd rather say raccoon paws.
Yeah. I wonder if I could find. Anyway, I'll probably do that tomorrow. I got a picture of a raccoon staring at me while I'm watching television.
I did want to
Pretty
point
cool.
out something that I'm kind of looking forward to. Let's see if I can figure this out. I'm too dumb to figure it out. Okay, I'll have to do it this way. Okay, so see it? Now I'm going to pull this up. Now I can't see. Can you see a screen that says coming up next in the middle?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, what this is, and there's a link to this in the description. I'm on the waiting list for the American release of God, an Anatomy by Francesca Stavrakopoulou. I think I pronounced it right, Stavrakopoulou. And so for me, it's being released now in Britain, but I'm having to wait till January for my pre-order. But in the meantime, every week she's doing on I think BBC4 radio, she's doing a reading from that book. And it's really interesting stuff. It's got a lot of good reviews in the UK. And I think that would be an enjoyable read for those who want to look at more scholarly treatments of the Old Testament. And, looking at how the Old Hebrew Bible viewed God at various phases in its history is pretty interesting. So I would recommend that. And the link to this website is in the description.
Yep. Cool. And we got the link for Jackson Wheat Show, and we got Topdawgs Top Picks for the day, and we have Topdawgs Forum with all those simulations, and we're good. We're going to shoot it in the head.
Hey, man,
become a ghost. All fucked up. Speed. You got your camera or something.
Wait. Why are you shooting in the head?
Because I have to go to a theater.
No, you don't.
Cool.
I'm here. I'm all the entertainment you need.
Look at this.
We'll discuss that later.
Cool. A link to come in. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, guys. So we're going to shoot it in the head. I got to go. Well, what movie am I going to watch?
Shanghai.
What is it?
Shanghai, I guess.
Okay.
Or Shang-Chi or whatever. I don't know.
And make sure you sit through the credits because I think there's something to do with the Hulk at the very end.
Yeah, my son always goes and checks that on the internet because the internet tells you whether you have to sit through the credits. What's up, Andrew?
Daniel said he's going to come in. I don't know if he's bluffing or not, but
it's too late today. He's bluffing.
It's too late, baby,
now. We're ending.
It's too late.
Yeah, you come in tomorrow,
late,
Daniel.
Apologize. It's too
late. Daniel Bennett is coming in tomorrow.
No,
I'm more pissed that Raw Nakedness can't come in and talk to us, but she's at work or something.
Yeah,
Daniel Bennett. Raw Nakedness. A pretty hot
promised
woman.
to come in tomorrow, right?
Maybe.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're gonna shoot it ahead. Goodbye, cruel world.
Bye.
Bye.